Okay, great. Awesome. Well, my name is Madison. Welcome to our PlayChip webinar. Thank you guys so much for coming and taking the time out of your day. Today we're going to have our presentation and we'll follow that by a Q&A. We'll have plenty of time for questions afterwards. So if they pop up into your mind, go ahead and enter them into the chat, or you can ask them live later. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to John and Michelle, and they'll get started for you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michelle McEachern, and I am joined here with John. I have a long history with Denbo, over 32 years, so I hope I know what I'm talking about as we walk through a little bit about Denbo's solution for playgrounds and PlayChip, actually, specifically. And I'll let John introduce himself.
Yeah, I am John Gowans. I'm the technical sales rep for Denbo. And yeah, welcome everybody. We're gonna speak today about PlayChip specifically, as you know, the history of the company, how we came about getting into PlayChips, where we're actually working with you all, and we have a fairly large marketplace right from southwestern BC down through into the United States. And we've been providing PlayChips for many years for your parks and your playgrounds. And I think we'll just start with that, and then we'll move on and give you a good presentation of what we do, how we do it. And we're really looking forward to the end of the session where you guys can fire some questions at us, and we'll try to answer everything right on the spot for you.
There you go. Thank you, John. Oh, there we go. Okay, moving into a little bit about a history of Denbo. We've been around for 42 years here in Chilliwack, BC. That does not mean we only serve Chilliwack, BC. We serve through the whole of BC, and we've gone into Washington for a number of years as well. We started our business in agriculture with specialty blower trucks, moving sawdust into poultry barns. And then we got creative and decided to enter into some other arenas with those specialty equipment. And with that, we started blowing in mulch. And from there, we got into our very first PlayChip engineering wood fiber market, where we produced for the very first time in BC, actually. It was not known to BC, and we enjoyed getting into that market, and we have been there ever since. And it's been about almost 20 years, I would like to say. I should know this, but I'm going to do my research. But we've been at it for a very long time, and over the years, we've just gotten better at doing the work, and we really love what we do in PlayChips. So why engineered PlayChips? Well, they're definitely something that others have before us done a lot of research on, ensuring that product was created for playgrounds. We know that play is very important for mental health, for physical, so it became more and more important over the years to ensure more playgrounds are being created and that they're kept safe for children. Way back in the day, I know when I was in elementary school, we had I would say pea gravel at the majority here in BC, and sawdust. If they were super cheap, didn't have much budget, they had sawdust, at least at the school that I went to. But I remember over the years, there was a lot of things that weren't safe about it. For in fact, like cushioning, there was no cushioning. It was just a product that you can kick around when you jumped off the swing a little bit. And over the years, there was research to create the proper PlayChip. And so we have been doing this and making sure that we provide a good quality product that meets the demands of the schools and playgrounds and daycares and everywhere else. And so safety is obviously very important to our company, and that's why we create a very high quality product. PlayChips are excellent because they are cost efficient compared to some other options on the market, because there is always options in realities. And I truly believe that there's always a place for everything. Certain playgrounds are better fitted for an engineered wood PlayChip. Others might be for other products such as the pour-in rubber or things like that. Play chips have a good appeal. They're not muddy. They're clean wood fibers. So they they don't get your kids all dirty. They're definitely not as uncomfortable as pea gravel was in the bottom of a shoe. So that's another thing. As well, play chips are manufactured to be inclusive. So you can roll a wheelchair through engineered play chip school. So that to us is important, as we want to make sure that we have playgrounds that are safe and available to everyone. So that's why we got into the play chip market and have been there ever since, and truly believe that it is a very good product for playgrounds. So let's talk a little bit about what Denbo has for safety and certifications. We get our products certified through IPEMA annually, and this is really important. And over the years, we've added different certifications and testing to make sure that we became inclusive, wheelchair accessible. We did not start out with those types of testing, although we created the product that was definitely good for that, but we do have the certification to back that up now, which is really important to us, for our customers to know that we've undergone all the testing. So the testing includes the IPEMA certification personnel coming all the way here to BC, to Denbo, and they come and look at our inputs and they test our outputs as well, make sure that they don't see anything that is alarming. So it's really important that they do that. Every year they come out, and then from there we also need to send product out to their facility where they do further testing. So our product will undergo metals, ensuring that we don't have any nails in our product, which is really critical, obviously, as well as there's a certain parameter for amount of fines, because they want the product to stand up for a long time, and too many fines will break down quickly. So there is a set amount of fines that ours has to undergo in its testing. Compaction is really important, or impact, I would say, being able to handle a fall from large heights. And ours is currently certified for 16 feet. And that to us is very important every time. That's probably the first number I look for, is how high are we still? I mean, it's not changing. We haven't changed our process, but it is nice to see that our product continues to be able to support a high fall. So that's important to us. And I'm going to move on to John to speak a bit about heights in general. What does Denbo pay attention to, and how do we place product?
Yeah, I think before we do that, let's jump in and just talk a little bit about how, Michelle, I'll turn it back over to Michelle, just how exactly do we create the play chips? Let's go with that one first.
Thanks, John. Yeah. So as I've mentioned, safety and quality is important to us. And so as we receive product for inputs, it's really critical to us that we get the purest of wood substrate. So we purchase directly from a mill that will actually debark the trees and will chip the whitewood logs. So there's no inputs such as maybe log ends with bark on them, or any pallet wood or anything like that in our products. And that's really important to us. And so pulp grade chips are the input for the start of our program. And that's really important. It goes right throughout the system. From there, we haul it ourselves to our yard. And we have a location here where all of our substrate goes. And from there, we process it. So we have loaders and a specific grinder that we have done a lot of research over the years, and that works well for us. And it's the B66 from Rotochopper. That's what we've had for many years now. We've had 3 different machines, but that machine itself is very good for what we want as an end result for a good quality chip. So that's important to us. And we have screens that we need to make sure that we're assessing on a regular basis, making sure there's no spit holes so that large pieces can get through. And from there, we have a finished engineered wood play chip. So, and it's our trade registered brand is Play Chips with a capital C, I'll say. And from there, we load it into our trucks. And we have a large fleet of trucks, box truck and blower. And we're going to speak a lot about our blower truck option, because we really like doing that, getting it into a playground. So that's just a little demonstration of that. And we move it right from there, from our truck, right into the play area. that's needed in the top-ups or fresh starts. So that is our process of play chip production and delivery.
Yeah, no, I'll jump in here. We've talked a little bit about the depth of the play chips and when they're installed in your playgrounds. The our certification is for 16 feet, and that'll handle the taller, like pretty much all of the playground equipment on that. We find the parks that we're doing installations, they'll range in equipment that's in them. You've got everything from toddler parks, which are little ones. We see those in the daycares predominantly, little slides and things like that, more plastic equipment kind of thing. And you don't need a whole lot of play chips in around there. We usually will target around a 6-inch fill for that. As we move up through into the preschools, much of the same, but again, we're seeing the equipment is predominantly the same. It's the smaller and the lower height units that the kids are playing on. It's when we get into the schools and and of course not just the schools but the municipal parks, where we're seeing the taller equipment. We're seeing stuff that could be 7 feet high. You got merry-go-rounds in there. You got all sorts of different things going on. You've got, again, then you get into the monkey bars and the climbing structures, which can be, upwards of 7-8 feet. That's where the certification, the IPMA certification really comes into play. We're 16 feet fall attenuation. And to do that, your parks have to have a minimum after the chips are set and knitted in, compacted 12 inches. So it's not uncommon for us to install anywhere from 14 to 16 inches at a new park installation and then top up. And we're going to talk about top ups in a little bit, but top up to 16 inches or 14 inches, let it knit down to that. So you're covered definitely at a minimum of 12 inches with the play chips underneath, especially underneath that equipment. That is super, super, super important. So that's where we get into, and we're going to talk about it in a minute. After that installation's done, the parks have to be maintained. They have to be topped up at a regular basis to make sure that the safety is still there for the kids that are playing. The blower trucks give a great option for that because basically we're going to talk about it a little bit, but we can park the truck, walk in with the hose, top up the park, and it's up to the standard that you need. Now, if you want to click that there, we got a little video. I think this is a school one. It basically will give you an idea of the process of identifying the need for play chips or a top up in your park and how Denbo comes in with the blower trucks and solves that for you.
Principal, school manager, we've got a situation in the upper playground. What is it, groundskeeper Wally? There's virtually no play chips left. Hardly any left at all, I tell you. What can we do about it? What can we do? Oh, I'll tell you what we can do. What we did the last time. It's a freaking nightmare. Let me show you. Got the new play chips, let me see. Playground 8 by 8 by 5 meters, that's 20 cubic meters. That's this pile. Then we need to get it to the playground. So that's 3 meters from the nearest delivery area to the playground. So how do we do it? Wheelbarrow carries 0.1 of a cubic meter of material. So that's about 200 wheelbarrow loads, which is 200 times you need to go from point A to point B. But don't forget that 30 meters to the playground and 30 meters back to the delivery point, which is 60 meters per load. 60 meters by 200 loads is 12 kilometers. That's if I do it all. Or we could use parent volunteers. Yes, lines of exhausted parents with their dodgy wheelbarrows. There's got to be a way. That can't be the truth. You cannot handle the truth. Wait. Do we have to replace the play chips? I mean, what's the worst that can happen if we don't? What's the worst? Well, principal, this is the worst. There's got to be another way.
So there is a better way for sure. I've been on the end of a wheelbarrow many days in my past, and I've been part of pack committees and things like that. And I know they're not always the most ideal.
Michelle, that was one of the best videos I've ever seen in my life. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. God, you guys, I would buy wood chip from you guys forever now, just for that video.
Well, it tells the story truthfully. I mean, many of us are parents or have been part of schools, so we know the pain points of all of those things, right? So, yeah, thank you for that. I get a chuckle every time I laugh, especially the guy, screaming. So I feel the pain. So we're going to just talk a little bit about what the blower installation option is and why we like it. So I have personally placed PlayChips for many years, driven trucks down into Washington, blown the PlayChips myself, and you know what? It's actually a really enjoyable job. So our team loves doing PlayChips. I will, to be honest, PlayChip installs bring a very good day to our team. And we do have a large fleet to make sure that we have good ability to serve, but we also have different size units. So talk about the blower chip installation is, you've got the hose. You can park your truck 300 feet away, which we have. And we can even do further if we know, and we bring some extra hose out, but 350 feet from the truck to the farthest point of a play area is a pretty long reach. And that helps us to avoid riding on grass that's already established, muddy. I mean, if you're in the middle of winter and that's when you're trying to use budget to complete a project or do top-ups, we can get across with our hose with minimal damage to everything. Our team comes in, we have a team of 2 here in Canada, and one installs and checks the depths as we're installing. And then afterwards, as a team, we clean up around the site. We blow off all the equipment, making sure there's no sawdust and plate chips left behind. It's efficient. We can have a playground done with 110 yards in 2 hours. So that's a pretty large amount of product that can be done. And that's our largest blower trailer, is 110 yards. And so we can get projects turned around pretty quickly. When I'm on site, I see all the children, the moms and dads watching, and they love it and they're excited by it. But man, when I pack up my hose and run away, they are just launching into the fresh play chips. So obviously closing down parks for as little time as possible is also a real benefit to using a blower service. So I'll take questions a little bit later about anything else, but we'll just keep going a little bit onto our top-up program.
Yeah, it's the top-up program is a very important part about it. We've been talking a lot about, basically how the chips are made and get them over to the park. And obviously the blower truck installation, and a company such as Dembo provides. It's a very, what we try to do is make the process very easy for you, so that you can basically get your parks filled to where they need to be so the kids can play. And that's the gist of it. But behind the scenes, we want to make sure that we have the infrastructure in place to help y'all get to that. And that's the key. And what we do is, once the chips are installed and the playground is functioning, it's going to need new chips through the years. We usually see a 2 to 3 year period where the chips will crunch down, get below that 12 inches that they need to be for the protection for the children, and they need to be what we call topped up. We don't have to remove the chips, we just top them up. And so we put together a program. It can either be a formal program where we have scheduled dates and things like that along with you years in advance, or a little less formal where you'll call us in. And what we do with a lot of the municipalities and the school districts is they'll have an internal program where they'll know that these 12 parks need to be topped up in this year. The following year, they'll do these 12 parks. The following year after that, these ones could be 12, could be 6, but I'm just using the number 12. And then call Dembo, get Denbo's estimators out. Well, we do that as part of our service. We don't charge for it, but we will go out and measure the depth of the chips in each individual park, tabulate that, figure out how many yards, all the math that you saw being done in that video, and then get back to you with which parks need it, how much they need, and then what that's going to cost. And you can build that into your budgeting program for the year. And that flips over year to year. Basically, these parks leapfrog. It, after a while, and we have municipalities and school districts have been working with us for almost the 20 years we've been doing this. And it's almost automatic. We'll get the call, we know what we need to do. And the big thing is we're doing that on your behalf. so that you don't have to, you can deploy your people elsewhere to do other things, lawn mowing and things like that in the parks and the playground areas. Now, that being said, if you want to do it with your people, no problem. Send us the yardage. We'll work with that, or we can actually do backup and make sure that what we see and what you guys see is exactly the same. We work together and we come together for a number that is in the parks. So that's pretty much how the top-up program works. And there's a big key to it, and Michelle loves it because it's the whole idea of putting a bunch of them together at the same time.
So one of the things that we always as a business want to be is creative and being supportive. So sometimes if you have multiple playgrounds that you're responsible for, you know that over a 2 to 3 year period, your inches and depth are decreasing 3 to 5, 6 inches maybe. And it gets expensive when you're going to just get a truckload part truckload delivered to this one place, and then that's it. You get a quote for that, you get that done. So we want to provide we provide a service in which you could give us three playgrounds and we can hit them all up on one load. So we're trying to make sure that we're helping people with budgets. That's important to us as we are a business always conscious of costs. So being able to be effective, there are days where we will do in a close region and to us, we'll do 4 or 5 playgrounds in a single day on a load or 2. So it's really effective and helpful for people's budgets. And so we've really developed that program, the PlayChip top-up program, to be beneficial to everyone actually. And we do have the different size trucks. We have a 45-yard truck, a 90-yard, a 75-yard, and 2 110. So we've got large trucks because there are some sites where you simply cannot get access with a large truck. And that's part of also the service when we send an estimator, if you're local based to site. We do Google Maps overheads. We do as much as we can from the back, try to keep all the time savings and things. But sometimes we actually just really need to assess the site. And that is part of when you work with Denbo, the opportunity for Denbo to provide that service for you as well.
Yeah, there's another thing we do. We've talked a lot about the blower trucks and how we can, daisy chain the parks together, all these different things, and keep the depth of the play chips up to where they need to be to keep the children safe. There's another option there that's always available, and we use it as a support option for the blower truck installation of the play chips. And what it is, we call it our bulk delivery. We do it in all different aspects of our business and all the different media that we supply, but for play chips, it has a very unique presence in our relationship with our customers like yourselves, because what we have is the ability to bulk deliver the chips outside of the blower trucks. We have a full fleet of bulk delivery trucks. They start down with a small little 1-ton dumper, just a small little dump truck, holds up to 14 yards. We go up into our larger tandem trucks, right into walking floor trailers, which can hold up to 120, 150 yards. And then for really large installations and large options, we have the B trains, which can hold up to 180 yards. They don't blow the chips, but what they do is provide a delivery service to either a laydown site for a job or your own facility. And a lot of our customers, especially the municipalities, they will have work yards where they will have a bin full of the play chips. And that's really important. They sometimes are covered, they keep them dry, and it allows them to do little touch-ups. They might get a call, maybe they got some park benches or something, they want to put some play chips around, they can put them around there, all different types of elements. Now, that's great if they've got their own yard. We also have a large stockpile at our yard, several thousand play chips that we actually can tap into and provide you bulk delivery. We'll deliver it to the different places and then just drop it off. And then you can deploy your own crews to put it in. This works in tandem with the blower truck service that we have. And what it does is it provides a full service option. So you've got the ability to hire Denbo in and do the play chips. If it's a smaller job and it just doesn't really require all the hoopla of bringing in and the traffic control and all the stuff that might have to happen with a blower truck, you guys can just do it with your own little dump truck. So we want to make sure that everybody knows that we have that 2 options for it. Now, You can also pick up. We have facility in Chilliwack where we manufacture the plate chips. We also have a large distribution center in Langley where you can bring your own trucks in or your own crews in, pick up what you need and go. So that's a good option for you guys. And yeah, so we just wanted to make sure that we pointed that out for you.
Yeah, and as well, we can go as far from home as we need to.
Oh yeah, we go down into the States, we go up north, we go into the interior. It's great. We're finding the plate chips, the Denbo plate chips are going all over the Pacific Northwest and southwestern BC into the interior as well.
So there you have it.
Oh man, this one went really, really, really fast in our books. Hopefully we didn't bore you to death, and hopefully we gave you some good, interesting information on plate chips and Denbo and how we try to integrate what we do with what you guys do. Now we'll turn it over to Madison because we've got. Oh, by the way, thank you very much for your time. We know it's important to you. We know this was done over the lunch hour, so. Thank you very much for being with us. We want you to stay a little bit longer. We're going to turn it over to Madison. If there's any questions, we're here for as long as we need to be, and we'll answer as they come in. You can either do the chat or you can put your hand up, whichever you'd like. Madison?
Thanks, Sean. Okay. One note before we do open up for questions is you all will receive a copy of this. It's been recorded. So if there's anything you want to refer back to, it's definitely in your hands afterwards. If there are any questions, we'll go ahead and take those now.
I've got one. Do you know, compared to your competitors, if it's, I'm just kind of, I guess I'm wondering like what the main difference is maybe, because I think some of our competitors use like a cedar base. You said it was white. So wondering, like, it doesn't dissolve if a kid puts it in their mouth, right? It's naturally pest resistant, and doesn't splinter, right?
Yeah, that's a great question and comment. So from our years of history, whitewood has only been the acceptable plate chip in BC, interestingly, and that has never changed. It supports just as well as the cedar. And I know the pest resistance, it's not an issue here in Canada with the whitewood. It is just the wood, so there's no barks. There's nothing really coming in with that. That is in the USA. I know we were creating a cedar wood chip for this Washington market. So they do the same. They act the same. They go through the same rigid testing. To get the certifications and different species. And I follow a lot of dealers through Washington, like way out there, they have hardwoods. So there is a large amount. The one thing that I do know you do want to stay away from is the woods like the alders. Never want that in it, just break down, gets a little sticky and things like that. So the whitewood has been very successful for Denbo over all these years. And it's just the wood the chip that's available and accessible.
Okay. I've got a follow-up question. Do you guys do like certified payroll if we have, prevailing, like, I'm just wondering if there's any limitations from a Canada-based business to anything that might hit a snag here in the States?
Yeah, so we're working through that because I know it has never been an issue. We actually are currently serving the USA, so it is not an issue, but I do understand there is some regulations for payroll. We've undergone work with cities already right now. So I know that I've been working through gathering all that information to be able to provide that like right front of mind to anyone who asks for that. So I don't have that at the moment. We want to have that all available by the end of the week, but I know that we have been serving and are able to serve in Washington. But we'll make sure we have all the diligence so that everyone is confident in using Denbo.
Awesome.
All right. Do we have any other questions from anyone else?
Yeah, I guess I'm just wondering how best to engage you guys, like the process.
Awesome. Well, we're a phone call away and an email. And we always have people, well, I shouldn't say always, not 24 hours a day, but through every workday, we have people who actually take calls. So we're not a recorded service. And we get the call right to our sales team. We have 3 on our sales team that handle calls. And we have an estimator that will do site visits. So it's a call, they'll introduce, or an email. Let us know what project address you might be looking at, or what information you like from us. We have some amazing downloads that we can actually we'll send up just a PDF of our top-up program, so you have a bit more information. We can send our certification for our current IPM as well. That way it's in your hands and people can peruse through that. Is there anything else that you would like from us right at the top? We can send it to everyone.
I'm not sure about that, but I have a follow-up question because I see, okay, so we have your contact information now, but then on your website, there is like request a quote, but I don't know if that's like.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's that's a very, very good mechanism for you to use. First off, along with our contact information down on below, if you have a pen handy, we do have a toll-free number. It's 888-933-6269. Again, 888-933-6269. That's a good way to get hold of us. And you'll get, during business hours, you will get hold of a person, and that will be passed. They'll take your input, what information you require. They may handle your questions and your inquiry right by themselves, or hand it over to another individual in the office. That's a good word to start. What you're talking about, though, is a very interesting thing, and it's how I personally see a lot of the inquiries come in, as well as other team members in Dembo. If you go to the website and you see request a quote, fill that information out, put your name in there, where you're from, put in just a brief little idea what you're trying to accomplish, whether it be PlayChips or anything else, and make sure your phone number's in there along with your email. We see those as soon as we get into the office first thing in the morning. And the first thing that I do is I spend the first hour of my day replying to the ones that have been sent to me. There are other team members at Dembo that get them as well, but you will see a response on that day from us addressing what you want to look. Now, there might be some more calls and some emails once we get down to the nitty gritty and find out exactly what it is you need. But it starts with that communication. Personally, I like the request a quote. It's a great thing because I have a little bit of information right up before we dialogue, and I'm ready to chat.
Okay, cool.
I'm sure we'll learn more about this as we do more quotes, but is there like a general guideline of where, standard prices might be, and then maybe there's something that's, where pricing goes up? I'll be honest, wood chips sometimes is the last thing I quote before, and I could use a square footage or something like that cost. And so I'm just kind of wondering, as we get going, I guess, like just stuff to look out for that might make a cost jump.
Mm-hmm. So we do manage a distance because we need to get our trucks back to Canada within a work day, but we have a corridor that we work alongside. We are working towards, because we want to make it simple for you. Our best way is always give us a square footage, give us your city, we'll create a quote, and it doesn't take us very long at all to get that back to you. That's ideal. But from what I hear, you're looking for a bit more standardization, or basically a bit of an idea of a window of price points. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, like I don't know if there's general cubic yardage costs or something like that, or the price is going to jump from site to site, that specific, or just kind of an idea of what to expect on that, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of understand what you're saying, Dustin, and it is interesting. It's that we do work with some standardized pricing, and we work together and try to get that. And it is regional, because of course the municipality is in its own area. We have a school district in its own area, and we can actually get to standardized amounts. But I do understand what you're saying. Not every park is the same. So there are areas that you do have to be careful when you're talking with your clients or with your administration within your group, and really talking to the people that at the end of the day are going to be writing a check and looking at the costs. Hose length, how far does that truck park away? That's something that can affect it. Your base rates are normally within 250 feet of the park. Okay, if that works for you, on a delivery. So there are other things. If the hose length has to be a little bit longer, yeah, there might be a little higher cost. Truck access has something to do with it too. Sometimes we can only put what we call our box truck or our 42-foot long truck to substantiate the delivery. Sometimes we can do it with a larger truck. And that actually creates a little bit of a cost saving sometimes. So I get it. The gist of it, I think, especially as we build a relationship with new clients and we learn the region and everything they're working within, is to really do it on a case-by-case basis. We start to grow into a more understanding of standardized pricing as we go. So I hope that helps, Dustin.
Sure does.
That made me think of a follow-up question.
Sure.
When you guys are talking about truck access. So we're often asked when we're placing orders with our logistics team and order entry team, like, okay, does it have good access? And obviously we should be asking that up front. But sometimes it's like, oh, what is good access? Like, I don't know how to judge that. Like, because I'm not on site. So do I go to Google Earth? You know what I mean?
Yep, so that's what we do. Our very first thing that we do is we get an address. First thing I do is I look over at an overhead map. I kind of look at where the playground area is. And if I have a question of where that might be, I'll say, hey, here's a picture that I got. Is this the playground area? And oh yeah, that's it. Perfect. I can pretty quickly, easily determine truck access from a Google map almost all the
Okay. Okay.
and I used to get our walk-in floor 53 foots into every single school in Seattle. I don't even know how I did it, but I did. So typically they're created for a large access. I mean, they've got buses going in and out. So for the most part, we can get our larger units into everything, and parking on the road in a small neighborhood is also the option.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Do you guys happen to have like sample kits or something you could send our way?
Absolutely.
Sweet.
Is there a certain city cutoff for deliveries? I know that was kind of mentioned. That can be a big price point or a big kind of factor in pricing and capabilities.
Yeah, so what we'll do as part of the follow-up package is we will send a map with the zones, and that will help you out right off the bat, seeing what that looks like. And we'll also include our amount of yardage. There's going to be a lot of details we can provide to make things pretty quickly efficient to answer a lot of your questions right off the bat.
There is one point we will make on that, Derek, is really, we don't look at any distances too far. We look at the need, and that if you have a scenario where you need play chips installed, we'll work together with you to look at some kind of option where we could provide the products and deliver them to you for sure. So it's like we've even gone as far as Whitehorse in the Yukon, stuff like that. If there's a need, then we'll figure it out.
Great, thank you.
Have you guys ever experienced border issues? Maybe
No.
trucks getting delayed or anything like that?
No, not at all.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's a clean product. It's acceptable for US. It's international really. So yeah, we've never had any issues. And like I said, we've done business for going south for many years and very frequently.
Awesome.
We do follow all the regulations. We do have a drug and alcohol policy as a company, just maybe that's totally offshoot, but we make sure that we're providing safe people when we hire. So we do have a program for that. So that's another just rest assured of who we are as a company. So that also helps avoid any border crossing issues.
These have all been great questions. Do we have anything else?
What size sample would you like to get?
Um, I'm not too particular. I just kind of wanted to compare it to like, what we've used before, kind of just feel it on my own and then potentially, have some to be able to give to customers if they're asking. So,
Hey, Dustin, Eric mentioned that there is some out in the main room, but I don't
Okay.
know if you need like a different size pack or anything like that.
I mean, no, that's kind of what I was just looking for, maybe like future customers that are interested, if they haven't heard of you or something where I can just, give them something, but, nothing too specific there, just, just having some stuff on hand maybe, or like, I don't know if you guys have like, just like little Ziploc baggies
Yeah,
or like a tube or
absolutely.
something, like, I don't know what they come in or something, if you have some of your like logo on it or something like that, but, like predetermined sample packets or something, or honestly, if you just send me a bag of play chips, I can make it work.
Yeah, we'll set you up well, actually, and you do have one in your office. I brought that down a couple weeks ago. I had a very nice drive out to your office, so.
Cool.
He could
Okay,
also use a couple yards for his new baby.
Yeah.
Play around
Yeah.
it.
that's awesome. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys all so much again. John, Michelle, if you all have anything you want to say to wrap up.
I am all good.
Yeah, I'm good too, and I really appreciate the time. And we're open for a conversation and questions at any time for anyone further. So we do have a good social media page where you can see some of the projects we do up on rooftops as well, PlayChip. So we're pretty innovative and creative, and can be solutions, a good solution for everyone.